Well, thank you for joining us tonight. I know Barb is going to join us as well, and so yeah, I'll start my video. Barb's going to join us, but she is just getting back from Mower Mountain, and so she's literally going to walk into the house and jump on her computer and join us. So I'm going to watch for her to join us. So let's get the call started. It's top of the hour. Leisel, thanks for being with us tonight.
You're welcome, and happy Father's Day.
Thank you. I had a wonderful time. I'm sorry I missed Mower Mountain. My boys, I only get to see the three of them together twice a year, and there was no way I could leave when they're coming home.
No, but we missed you too.
It was it looked like you had a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, it was the best Mower Mountain. We say that every time, but really this one had so many cool things. So I'm excited to tell you all about it.
Okay, well, let's get started. I know Barb will jump on as soon as she can, and I'll bring her over to the panel and that. So I know you were stepping out of a dinner meeting to join us tonight. Yeah, so thank you, and thanks for taking the time to be with us.
Yep, no problem. So yeah, just anytime you want me to jump in and get going, I can talk about all the fun things we did.
You bet. Well, tell us about Mower Mountain. What happened? I saw there was like about 200 people there, and it looked like it was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And it was funny this year as we did things. Karen has joined our team. She's amazing. Her organizational skills are absolutely awesome. Caden, despite the fact that he has a wedding this next Saturday, I mean, how crazy is that? He has stepped up, and his whole team is just like, he's awesome. And we've thought of so many other things that we really have to say. I can't believe we didn't think of this before. One is just children care. So many of our teams come and have kids, and we don't discourage that. It's difficult to leave for that amount of time. Bring them, and we'll make sure they have a great time too. So anytime we had something going for the adults, we had something going for the kids, whether it's during meetings, and then we had videos, snacks, parties, coloring in another room. Mower Mountain itself, where usually they were kind of hanging around watching, sometimes participating. We had bouncy houses, we had kids fishing, we had so many cool things that the kids could really go out on their own. We had a giant slippery slide from all these pool covers that Tom had put together. I mean, just super fun stuff. So, and I just said, I can't believe we didn't think of that before, and we had a few things like that, but not really something. And, we've got groups with large families, and I've had 5 kids, and when you're going to take your family somewhere, it's going to impact how you experience the event.
That's
you're
right.
either going, you're going to either be in the back hall with a baby or a kid or somewhere, but you're not going to be, first of all, you're going to wonder if your kids are enjoying it. They get frustrated and impatient, and that's just kids and stuff. So to know that you're going somewhere where it's going to kind of be a vacation for your kids too, we really want to encourage that in the future, because that's something that we really did different this year. So that was awesome.
Wait, no, I got to ask this question. Okay, so you had slipper slides and you had the jumpy house and all that stuff. Did all the adults jump in those too?
Of course.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we had, of course, all the stuff for the adults, shooting shotguns, riding horses. The kids could go on horse rides as well. Just all those things. We had the races and the teams, and we separated them, and, the stuff that everybody loves to do. It's really funny because we do that first. That's our first day, and it's kind of hot, but we got lots of water. We got Nerf gun fights, and everybody goes around and kind of does their thing. We have an awesome lunch, an amazing dinner up there. We're up there in that yellow barn up there that Dad's had. It was very cool because Tom has put all this wood around. It looks completely different. He had all of Dad's mounts up there.
I saw that.
Yes, it was fun just to see, Dad, really represented there, and everybody was like, oh, this is very cool. And then there's just so much bonding that goes into that day. You can't, really, and a lot of distributors say, especially ones that haven't been, geez, I really never knew this is what Mower Mountain was like. And it's just something where you bond with everybody. You're having a good time, you're competing, you're having fun, you're being silly, you're getting to know people in a way you never can in a meeting, you know, and you're getting, and it truly just helps your business. It helps us get to know them more, them to know us more. At the end of that first day, we opened Dad's house up. You know, it's empty, but so many of them haven't seen it. Of course, it's just something that people have always heard about. I had everybody raise their hands who hadn't been there. And I bet you 20% had been to Mower Mountain before, and 80% we had that many new people who have not been. It's growing so much. Father's Day weekend obviously is going to, you know, hurt us a little bit there as it did with you and stuff like that. So, but as I've traveled recently and I'm doing more, there's a giant group that don't know Dad, and except on videos and stuff. So taking them up to his house was very cool. And then of course, you know, they gathered on the stairs there and sang a song, and it's just breathtaking experience, and just sets the stage for then what's coming next. You know, we're just very cool. So you want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I saw the mounts in the barn, and I saw how you fixed the barn up, and
Yeah.
you know, Senior would be proud of how that all looked. It looked fantastic.
It looks awesome. And, you know, Tom had taken me up there, geez, well, the last kind of years, he's been getting it, you know, done and ready and changing things. And it looks so different, but it looks so good. And Dad would love it. He really would love it. He'd love us to open his home, you know, even though there's no furniture in there and stuff, because, you know, that's part of the experience. And Dad always wanted to do that himself. So, you know, we try and keep a lot of that in mind, like, you know, making sure that the Mower Mountain experience is something that Dad started, and that we want to make sure, you know, Dad would want us to do this, and Dad would still want us to do that. And so that was kind of that. So that ended that night, super fun, everybody tired. Lots of ATV rides. We had a whole bunch of ATVs there, you know, going through the creek, going up through, everybody just covered with dust. So, you know, you're super tired, super fun. And then you get up the next morning and we go to Supra. Now we did this different. We did everything different, and it was very fun. And especially for those of you guys who've been to Mower Mountain several times, it's always fun. But after a while, you kind of got to shake things up, and that's what we did. So we had a Supra tour, and instead of just going around, you know, as you do when you drop by, we had stations, and everybody had a station. Tom did, I did, Karen did, Thomas, Caden, Milo, and a couple of others. And we just go to our station. I went to where we do our personal care and our skincare. We have a separate lab for that, and a separate area where we fill and bottle that. And so I was there, you know, and Tom took him down the Fucoidan line on that thing, and Milo took him to where we put everything together in the pick line. One really cool thing is we came out with our Sisel salts, is we had an interactive place for them to be on one of the stops, and where they could take the salts, grab some fragrances, mix it together, see which one they wanted, and make their own bath salts they were able to take with them. It was very cool.
So now, I didn't see any photos or any slides on the Sizzle salts, but I did see something on the Japanese site. So is that enough? So we actually have 3 new products coming out.
Yes, we have quite a few. And on my next call, I'm going to be talking about all of that with slides. I don't have that. I'm sorry, Kurt,
Right.
We've got the silver product, and I'll get to that on the last day and tell you a little bit more about that too. So there was a couple, you know, that wasn't quite ready, but Japan did get the bath salts early. It's a very big product for them, and they absolutely loved it. And so we kind of just showed them that video and stuff. But yes, as they came through on my station, you know, they were carrying their little bag, their little packaging with the salts. They loved it, because I'm like, how was it? Did you like that experience? And they're like, this was fun, just to see, you know, kind of how it works. We can make our own, personalize it. And that was a very, very fun stop for them. And the feedback as everybody went through was just like, this is a different way to do the tour. It was much better because each spot really was more of an in-depth instead of a few words, you know, and then you move on. A few words, you move on. It was about, you know, 15 minutes at each stop, which was very cool. So people loved it. We had our customer service team take them out. We met them outside the Supra building. We laid out the red carpet, super windy day. But we put some rocks down, you know, the kind of the Mower way, I guess, and holding it down. But they came through and, you know, we all clapped and kind of gave them a high five, welcomed them in, and started the tour that way. Had the customer service team each take a group, and that team member took them through every station until they were all done. So
sounds like a great way of doing it, because it was all organized that way versus, you know, sometimes it seemed like when we did the tour, it was like, you know, do you want to do the tour? Do you want to do the, and all of a sudden you have like big groups, and then you'd have a group of two. And so this, it sounds like it will work a lot better.
Well, and when the group is too big, people can't hear. You know, I mean, so the groups were about 12 to 13 in each one, some a little bit more. But yeah, the big groups, it makes it just really difficult. And even with those, because what's going on around Supra is still business as usual. It's loud, you know, there's people coming by you and all this machinery. I had to keep pulling them in and we go back out. It was, you know, very cool. We had the laundry detergent being filled in one of the bays that I was close by, so they were able to go up there and see, you know, it's a fully automated system, very different from anything that we've had before, you know, fully automated for temperature and ingredients and everything. And some of our things are capped by people at the end, but even that is fully automated, which makes for a much better product for everybody, you know, as everything comes out and you get the same product each time. So, but it was very fun for them to see an actual product that they used. You know, it was also fun as I was sitting there doing my little thing. There's these giant things of Sisel shampoo. They're like, oh, and you know, of course, distributors notice everything, and there's some fun things they were able to see along the way. You know, we talk about, and we've talked about this for years, we manufacture for other competing companies because they don't have their own manufacturing company. And it's one of the things that make us and truly set us apart. Distributors went through and saw, and I'm not going to say the name, but kind of saw some product from one of those companies, and they're like, oh, you really do make it for these guys. And I'm like, absolutely, absolutely. But in the end, still, we're always at the top of that line. And Dad's goal with Supra, and I know you know this, Kurt, is to be so big that it's only Sisel. But, you know, we have a great reputation there for creating quality products that people can count on. And so we have a lot of people who want to manufacture their products.
Well, and I don't mean to interrupt, but, you know, for those people who are listening to the video, because a lot of people will be watching the video, this is going to get shared with people who probably aren't familiar with Sisel. They don't even know what Supra is. So Supernaturals is actually the manufacturing line for Sisel. And Supernaturals actually makes product for other companies, like Leisel said. So for those of you that are just listening to the video, you know, that's something that you'll learn as you get more familiar with it. But, you know, because they're making our products and we're kind of a, you know, sister companies, brother sister companies, however you want to look at it. You know, we get the best of the best, and we can share videos for those of you that are unfamiliar with it. We can share videos just so you can see what we're talking about. But yeah, and then you know, I always like the part, I was fascinated with the water system.
Yes,
you know,
I talked about that, and then Tom really did. But go ahead, tell them why you like that, because honestly, I talked a little bit about it, and I said you don't understand how important the water system is. So talk about that, Kurt.
Well, I mean, the thing that I always learned on it from the very first time that I went there, you know, almost a decade ago, when Tom took me through. Tom gave me a private tour that first time that I went through, and he said, "Here we can balance the pH. We can make the pH whatever we want it to be. We can make the water hard. We can make it soft. So we can make it so that if we're making laundry detergent, boom, we make it this way. If it's skincare, we can change that pH so it's perfect for the skin, for all the liquid products." So when you talk about liquid products, I remember Tom telling me, and I'm not going to mention the name of the company, but they had a liquid product that they thought, oh, here's another company that can make it cheaper for us. So they brought it to somewhere else. And they had like a 5% return rate when they went to that other company to fulfill the orders, and they came back to Supernatural's, Sisel's sister company, and the return rate was less than 0.3%, and so that made up the profit margin. And it made up the difference. So that company wasn't saving money by having that other company make it cheaper. Right. It was actually costing them money. And I always remember that, when your dad told me that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just purified water to the utmost quality. And the reality is, like you just said, most of the issues that come back with products out there made from other companies can be traced back to the quality of water that they use. So very important part. It's also, you talk about Mower Mountain and what we do on that first day. Being at Supra, that's another thing that's difficult to explain, just how amazing it is. And you can see a video, but it tends to look like a lot of videos you've seen of, when you're in there and you're seeing how huge those vats are for, fucoidin, and just those lines, for fucoidin and our triangle that run around clear on the whole side of the back part of Supra. You really do not realize just how amazing that whole building is, that whole process, and how cool it is that, because as Tom and I have been going through Dad's things, we still have the original kitchen table that Dad was making formulas on in the very beginning, and now we have the most state-of-the-art labs, several of them in that building, one upstairs for personal care and skincare, and then the one right at the bottom they were able to go and see. And you look where Dad started. Then we move, and I don't want to get too far off track, but to what I thought was an amazing warehouse. And we had these big vats with these giant ladders up. And I remember Tom Jr. taking these products, lugging them up and put them in. We're fully automated now. Nothing like that happens. And it really, Dad's vision of where he wanted to go. And now, being there and every year updating equipment, buying new things. And Tom Jr. Replaced several things this year, and not just the shipping department, but in some of the lines that really have just made for a much better process for our products and our distributors. So very, very cool.
All right. So you had a lot of fun with Mower Mountain, and Mower Mountain is the fun event with the, they're shooting and horseback riding and all the Western stuff that if you're from Australia and you think of being in the outback, getting to, just be a cowboy, that's what they do on that first day. And I've been there. I've been to, I don't know how many Mower Mountains. This is the first one I've missed since I joined. And it's a lot of fun. It's just a fun day, get to experience kind of the cowboy thing, and eat, really, really good food out there, and cooked, served right there. And actually by the Sisel staff, they serve the food to everybody. So it's cool. And then so the next day was some motivation. You had some speakers, and then
the next day after Supra, then we had our distributor leaders do training. We all go over, and distributor leaders did training, like you said.
All right, and that's when the new products were shared. On that day.
Nope. So that was our distributor leader day, and for the last part of the day, we just had some of the leaders kind of get up and talk about how they build their teams, how they bring people up from a 1-star and beyond, just different subjects from some of the people who have found success in Sisel. Then dinner on their own that night. The next day, the last day, then we had training, and we started that off. And I did Mower Mission this time. I'd done Mower Mission on a couple trips I did back east in the US a month or so ago. And going through Dad's stuff with Tom, I have found so many things in Dad's past that I really added. You know, so many times we talk about the Mower mission, and the Mower mission doesn't change, but sometimes we talk about it so much that people's eyes can kind of glaze over. We've seen it was so cool, and I hope Barb, you know, can attest this. I really went deep into Dad started this. We would not be here without him. And I really went back to when he was a baby, you know, and his parents and the women who influenced him and how he started, you know, going through school, his careers as he was in his 20s and his 30s, and then advancing. And of course, you know, the barn. And can you imagine the barn compared to the place we have today, mixing products and moving on and doing that. But we all, as we talked about what our subjects, we wanted it to be different again than anything we had before. Nothing was as, you know, we didn't want to repeat anything. We wanted it to be new. And that's what we did yesterday, all day training, and then followed by the gala that night with an awesome dinner, awards, recognition, and just a fun time.
All right. So Barb, thanks for joining us. I know you just literally walked in the door. Oh, you got to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Okay.
There you go. Now turn your camera back on.
How do I
Unmute.
do? I didn't touch my camera. Oh, here. Okay. Start video. All right.
All right. And okay. There you are.
Yeah, I
And-
did just walk in the door and I'm staring at my pile of stuff that I hauled in from the car really quick because we've been having bear problems and I don't want food out in my car in case he shows up.
All right.
But no, what a wonderful event. And I've been to quite a few of these, and Leisel's Mower mission. It was heartwarming, it was touching, it was informational. And I mean, you know, Kurt, you had a strong friendship with Tom. I had a strong friendship with Tom. That's just the way Tom was with his Sisel family.
Yeah.
And they see the pictures, and to have that, and I'm not going to cry again, and neither is you, Leisel. But it was wonderful to see. He was the cutest little boy. I mean, you could see as an adult, he was still the cutest little boy. He had the little stinker in him, but no, it was amazing. And I was just thinking, when you mentioned the barn, I'm just going, the only thing that would be better if the barn was sitting out front of Supra, all reenacted, it would be amazing. But the whole event, to start from Thursday, it was hot, but we all had a blast. We played, we walked, we visited. The barn was set up amazingly. Our team challenges, working together, bonding, building. Everybody broke off into different groups. We didn't stay with our little cliquey groups or people we really want to visit with because they're on our team or they're our leaders. We really did a lot of things. We networked. I had people coming up to me asking me, how do you build in Montana? And we just shared so much. And I have to say, the distributor leadership, what a great way to start. If that would have been the last day, it would have not been as great. But they followed everything through as to what you need to do on how to build, how to connect with people, how to share the products, how to share your passion, how to try and become passionate about this if you're not already. And I can't imagine anyone not being Sisel passionate. But it was just really, really good. And we broke away around 3 o'clock. We had kind of downtime to get ready yesterday. Oh, that was Saturday. That night we were till 6:30. Some of us broke off and went to dinner. And I went to dinner with different people or lunch every day so I could talk to people and pick their brains too. You know, it's nice to always learn from how other people do things. And then yesterday, oh my gosh, it started off with a bang. And I do have to say, Caden, the marketing group, customer service, on up to corporate managers, owners, phenomenal. Everything was phenomenal. I can't even, I've done events. I've been an event planner, not at this big of thing, but I've done 300 women at an event, and that's pretty hard to do to please them all. I can't think of anyone that wasn't comfortable. The gala, the finale was Joe Thomas. And all Barbara Lewis could talk about was Joe Thomas. What a great finale. It was like the finale of the 4th of July. It was wow. It reinforced everything we need to know. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits, just everything. Everything was great. And I always love being with the Amish family, I will admit. The only thing that was missing, and Leisel will attest to this too, was our Australian, Japanese, and European friends. And next year we will have them. They will be back. But everybody felt welcomed, special. With the newest people that have never been walked away. I saw them this morning loading the bus before I left the hotel, and the hugs from all of them. I can't even tell you everyone's name. And just saying, this was wonderful, great to meet you. We've heard you on the phone. This event will be back next year. Will you be back? Will you be in Michiana? Will you be in Pennsylvania? And I said, I won't be in Michiana. July is just not a good month for me to be away right now. But I'm going to try Pennsylvania and Michiana the next time. Those events are great.
Was the whole event recorded?
Yes.
And
I don't know.
Lisa, can you share the whole event with us on
Absolutely.
the videos? Because I
And
think a
Stuart
lot
will
of
get
people would
those
love.
ready. They recorded on several cameras. We'll have all of that available for everybody. Very cool. I didn't mention that, and I meant to Joe Thomas. It was kind of one of those things. He was our what do you call him? It kind of slipped my mind. Our motivational speaker.
Right.
He was so good. He got out in the crowd. He was talking to people. He started talking about how they might talk to people in their business and showed them how to move it from an I to the U. And, he was interacting, and like people were just like stuck on him. And all of a sudden he was done. And a lot of people came up to me and said, in fact, I talked to Tom Jr. this morning, and he called me as he was kind of picking some stuff up for the thing. And I said, Joe Thomas was awesome. I got so much positive feedback on him. I said, I think if he did some distributor trainings, they would love it. And he's like, I heard a lot of that, because just the little bit that he gave there, distributors were like, I like this, and it was just showing them how to change the way you speak. So you're not trying to push something on someone, but to get them interested in the information you have in a way that, is about them. And I loved it. It was awesome. And he really tied it up in a great way.
All right. Well, I would love to see the entire event. And I know you can't do everything, because that would be, like 12 hours of video or 13 hours of video, and you can't do that. But if you could do like all the product stuff. And I know you said you're going to cover that in detail on the next Australia, New Zealand call.
Yep. I'm going to have Tom on the call. And then we'll do some of the PowerPoints. I don't know if we'll be able to do them all that time, but I'm going to put the PowerPoints out there. You guys are welcome to have the PowerPoints. A lot of people have requested my Mower Mountain PowerPoint just so that they can take it and add it to theirs and have a lot more material than we've had before. They're welcome to, I think, most of the PowerPoints that we have. But yes, Kurt, we're going to put it all together as long as we can, so that you get a really good, feeling of exactly what happened there, especially the speakers and stuff.
Yeah, it would be great. And then, okay. I mean, we can't get off the call, and I know Leisel and Barb, you're both probably, you got other things to do. We can't get off the call without talking about the new products. Okay, so the Sisel salts, that's a bath salt, right? So, for people who are familiar with bath salts, you said you can mix different fragrances with it, and
that we just let them do an interactive thing. We'll pick out a fragrance, but those will also change over time. We'll also in the future with those, do some that for holidays and different things, because we do have some holiday stuff that we've got coming up in the year that will give distributors a chance to have some fun product fragrance choices for that. And that's one that we can kind of change through the year, but it will have an initial fragrance, one fragrance.
Because I just love my salt when I take my baths every day. No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
Do I look like a bath? I'm not a bath guy. I'm not.
Yeah, and women, are bath people and stuff, I think. But when you go to the grocery store, take a look at the bath salt sections. It's huge. It's really exploded. So it's a big product right now.
So, and then the next product that I want to hit is the antiperspirant, you know, the deodorant.
Okay, so that was awesome as everybody went through Supra. And
Because I smell.
yes, and everyone said, when are we going to get, you know, the antiperspirant? And I just literally was like, I knew they were getting a sample there, very cool, and just these little things. It was so awesome. So when that came up, the whole place just blew up. It was very fun. And I'll have a firm date on when those are going to be out. Have you tried yours, Barb?
No, I haven't, but I will.
I was talking to Barb Lewis and she said she wished you had.
I know, but that's why I put Barb Lewis in the trunk on the way home.
That's right. But no, it smells great. It works great. We test everything ourselves.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had some moments where we'd come back to R&D and be like, that one, we need it stronger, or we need this, more fragrance, you know, and it's awesome.
Yeah, because the roll-on, I mean, it worked good for about 10 minutes and
Yes.
then, you know, so this is for everybody that's listening. This isn't a roll-on, it's not a liquid, it's a dry, right?
Stick. Yep, it's a stick.
I will tell you, my husband will love the fragrance on it. And that's one thing I liked. He was really hoping we'd come out with the deodorant, but not with a floral fragrance. It is a very earthy, very light, very wonderful fragrance.
I agree.
All right. So it goes good with the body wash that we have,
Correct.
Yes.
the Mount Pleasant.
Yes, for sure.
I love that product. And,
I do
and
too.
so it goes really good with that. So it's a deodorant stick. It works. It doesn't have the aluminum in it. It's got a lot of different things, natural stuff. And I won't get way into the science on it, but it's got some silver in it.
Silver,
Nano
exactly like we
silver.
have in the cucumber lime, you know, a great product for that. But this, we've got a silver product that we're going to be having in several products now.
Yeah.
And so Barb, you want to talk about those at all? I mean, they're super exciting, but Tom talked about them, and he had the scientist, before you get up there, but get up and talk about how our silver is different. And, you know, you've seen people out there, silver can be kind of a little bit of a scary product, and silver accumulates in the body. And you've seen those people who look like Smurfs almost, all this blue. And so I think it can be a little bit scary for people, but we had the scientist who's come up with this just amazing silver that he's produced in this proprietary form.
It's a nano
Yes,
silver.
exactly. Yeah.
And it can't get into your cells, where the other silver will just absorb into your, I mean, get into your cells, and that's why you turn blue. It can build up in your liver. It can build up in a lot of different things, from what I understand from the talk. And I am very excited for this. And I have to say, the liquid silver, the liquid bottle we received that you can take a teaspoon of, I used it topically on that split on my finger. Remember, I had him glue it.
Mhm.
It's not infected anymore. It doesn't hurt. It's amazing. And it did that right yesterday, sitting in the meeting.
So that's the third product, right? The silver liquid.
Mhm.
Yeah. I've been using the liquid silver nano, probably from the same scientist for a couple of years, that when you know, this CV thing came out. But
Mhm.
yeah, because I you know, and I know I talked to your dad about it, and you know, it's amazing. Silver is amazing.
Yes, it really is. And if you look out there in the market, especially our market, there's really not a lot of companies who have this. We did the research on that. There's one, and they're very successful in it. So I really like the opportunity that it gives to our distributors, because I don't think there's a lot of silver out there. I mean, there is, but not in the, number one, in the way we've done it, and number two, in the industry we're in. There's not a lot out there. So I think it's a great addition to our product line.
Excellent. Yeah. On the slides, you know, you had that Silvadine cream on there. And I remember way back in 1981, I was in a motorcycle wreck. Back then, I had been in another motorcycle wreck years ago. And I had all these scrapes and scratches, and that's what they used on me to get rid of to make it so I didn't get an infection. And so, you know, so I've been familiar with silver since, you know, before I even graduated from high school.
Oh, very cool. And there's limitless possibilities and products with that. So I think you'll see that, I mean, we're not going to put it in everything, but there's, like I said, it's already been in the cucumber lime. But I'm really excited to see some of the products that come from this cool new ingredient.
I am too, very excited.
Barb, I'm gonna, you weren't on when Leisel was sharing all about the Mower Mountain and things like that. Tell us a little bit more about, from a distributor point of view, how did you see things, and share, some highlights with people, because there's gonna be a lot of people that'll be watching this video afterwards,
Well, one thing I will say, Sisel is not going anywhere. Sisel will be here forever. And that's with the Dynasty Trust and with the Mowers and the other Mowers coming up. Caden and Thomas and Tom Jr. and Leisel, we're in great hands, and our future is very, very strong. I felt very excited hearing they're working on lots of products. We don't know what they're working on, but I have so much trust and faith in them that whatever they're working on will be good for all of us, the environment, for people, just to help us all get healthy, even more healthy, or our homes more sanitized. I just think things are going in the right direction. The other thing that's very, very excited, and I don't know if Leisel brought it up, starting tomorrow for your customers and your distributors and yourself, of course, if you order 300 PV or more, there's a 5% discount on auto purchase. It has to be an auto purchase. It's not on any other orders, just your auto purchase set up at 300 PV or more. You will automatically get a 5% discount.
So the 5% discount is applied on the order, or is it sent back in the form of a rebate like the
I
loyalty?
believe it's applied on the order. Is that right, Leisel?
Oh, sorry, I was typing.
The 5% will be applied on the auto purchase of 300
Oh, yes,
PV
yes.
or more.
Yeah, I think so.
And it does not take away from your PV, because Tim Proctor asked Tom about that, and Tom said, no, it's 5% off of the order, but not off your PVs.
That's right.
So holy cow, you get the loyalty rewards, you get the shipping, and you get another 5%.
Yes. I mean, what other company gives us that? And then our check batch when you're 1 star and above. And I mean, there's just so many profit envelopes, I'll call them. That's what I call them here. But profit centers within Sisel. There's so many opportunities. We have all the products, and then there's more coming out that everybody uses every single day.
Every day.
And I mean, I can honestly say, now that I've moved out to the lake house and living my dream, I don't go to the grocery store. I mean, why go to the grocery store when you have it in your own store? You buy from yourself. And that's what I do. My home, my bathroom, my face, my laundry, everything is Sisel, along with my supplements, my Siseline. I mean, it's phenomenal what we have and what it can save you on groceries. And the thing is, right now, we've been very blessed with getting our things on time, having the products available. The supply chain in the grocery stores, we're all seeing it here in the US. The shelves are getting emptier and emptier. And I'm sure it's happening all around the world. And so we need to be proactive and be sure that we're doing this and helping people, because we can, I mean, Siseline can support us for a long time if we have food issues. The other thing that I'm really excited about, and I can't totally remember the name, I don't have my notes in front of me because I haven't unpacked anything, but we are also doing a donation that we had the opportunity to give money for. It was the, Leisel, do you remember the name?
I know, I'm dying here too, the Sisel.
I know, I'm so tired.
And it's got the heart. It's very cool.
But it's helping children not starve around the world.
Yes.
And they've come up with a product that is just phenomenal, that the jug will do 1,000 meals. And we all were allowed, okay, go ahead.
No, finish your part, because that's important.
We were all allowed to donate $5, which would feed, I believe it was 100 people, because it was $50 a jug for 1,000 people. And everybody, I think, stepped up to that. I know people I talked to I mean, gave 200, or more. And that has always been a passion of mine. My dream is a soup kitchen and nobody goes hungry in my community. So to see this, and I belong to that organization, and I can't think, I've always given to them, but it's a wonderful organization. And I don't know if it's going to be in our back office to donate there at a point.
It is.
But it's a great thing to have a jug that's the size of our Sisel Sport about go out and feed nutritionally 1,000 people, 1,000 meals.
Yes, and we partnered with this organization, and it is a tub and it's a powder. And many of these areas, Caden brought up, all these children, most of what they live on is rice and beans. And so they're not getting the nutritional value that they need. Now, for the past year, we've literally been trying this powder, and as he puts it on rice, we'll taste it. Of course, we want it to taste good, but they can eat what they normally eat in their communities, but still with just a little bit of this powder, get the nutritional value that they'd get as if they were eating a well-balanced meal from breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And like I said, we'll have those numbers that Caden has, on the call of exactly how many people that one tub feeds, but yes, you can get that. And it's very cool. And if
It's called Sisel Nutrify, nutritional meal supplement, multivitamin and mineral meal support for 1,000 servings is in this jug. It's 1 kilogram, 35.3 ounces. It's a dietary supplement, and it's phenomenal. And I'm trying to find.
Do you have it? A picture?
I have. Yeah, I do. Kind of. I can just a second. See if I can get it on here.
Is that going to be available to us as well?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. It's for our
Can you
distributors.
see that?
We talked about, that's what the tub looks like. It's very cool. Obviously, Caden has been working with an area in Africa, but he just says we're also looking at our hometowns and, places in the US and everywhere. We're a global company, and this is a product for everyone, everywhere. So yep, you will be able to get that.
Excellent.
That will be exciting, because I know on our reservation, we need it.
Yeah. And
I think all over the world. I mean, it's not just,
Yes.
in Africa or wherever. I mean, right, like you said, in our own backyards.
Exactly. And I really love it, because one thing, my dad, he always had a soft spot. I remember him saying all the time, the one thing that bothered him was to ever think of children not eating. Caden had statistics of just how many children around the world wake up, go to school, or don't have to just spend their day hungry. And, I love that they chose that, because I remember from years ago, my dad always just talking about how kids not eating was tough on him. That's why I love that.
It's called Convoy of Hope.
Yes.
I like it. Well, I know I've kept both of you for longer than half hour, like I promised, and that. Is there any other things that you want to share quickly and tell people about? Because we'll get this out to as many people as we can.
Yeah, let me, if I can, just real quick. I thought it was very cool, and we're going to show the slides, but Milo went over our sales the last couple of years. And, he had some other companies up there, the trajectories. It was very cool to see how we're growing. And he had a lot of numbers up there for us, just to show everybody where we've been, where we went the last year, and where we are this year, how it compares. And even I, who, I've heard the numbers, but once he put those together in graphs, you could truly see. And then he showed, some of the top companies out there, all of them, except for one, although their volumes were larger than ours, were in a decline at the moment. Ours, and like I said, one other company, and this was in, I think he took the top 8 MLM companies out there. We're in a trajectory for the past couple of years, and I'll tell you the percentages that we've grown. It's really phenomenal. It got everybody excited, because we're doing something right. Everybody's out there loving what they're doing. COVID's, like you said, been difficult, but people have just loved us. We got a lot of new products coming, and to see exactly how far we've grown, and I'm talking in volume, was pretty cool, Kurt.
All right. I like hearing those numbers and I know, you know, a lot of the people that listen to the video that are going to listen to this as a recording, you know, they got hurt in some other markets, you know, and even Tony Robbins, I was listening to a podcast by Tony Robbins, and he says, why are we having so much trouble shipping to Australia and New Zealand? And you know, and it was on Tony Robbins. You know, he's the firewalker guy, motivational speaker. He's been one of my favorite motivational speakers since the early 80s. And he brought it up on his podcast. And so it's not just we're having trouble. Everybody's having trouble shipping to these markets.
Absolutely. And one more plug for our call. We have a really cool incentive for our market on shipping that I'm going to be introducing with Tom on our next call that I hope will help everybody out too. So
that's this coming Friday in 5 days.
Yeah, it's Tom's son's wedding.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I just want to make sure that's not too much on Tom's plate, but I'll let everybody know as soon as possible.
Okay, so it might be postponed. The call might be postponed for.
Yeah, because I want him to be on it. I want us to have as much as we can on it. And but that part is already ready because, you know, we almost had that before. So, but yeah, we got some cool things.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining me, Leisel and Barb.
Welcome.
Do you have any final thoughts that you want to share? Oh, you're muted. Unmute yourself. Unmute. There you go.
The one thing that really impressed me when we were talking about these numbers, they were saying we are up to 500 shipments per day. And I think that was all North America, but they're shipping out 500 packages or orders a day. And their new picking line is all automated. It's amazing. It's wonderful. So they're going to be able to keep us going even, you know, it's going to double the 500. So it's just to see the state of the art of the changes in the facility. And I mean, my background was in cost accounting for manufacturing. So I've seen all the stuff, and to see this, I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I could feel the numbers. And the one thing she talked about the growth and the state of Sisel in North America. In 2019, we had 12.8% growth. 2020, 13.7% growth. In 2021, 30.9% growth. And so far for 2022, 41.6% growth.
Yes, it's very cool.
I love numbers, and and Kurt, I will send these. I took pictures of their slides, so you'll have them before we get them, and you can look those over.
All right, perfect. And Leisel, let me know ahead of time what you find out as far as like Caden's wedding, when Tom Jr. can be on, and if we have to postpone or anything like that, because let's really market this. Let's try and get everybody on that call. Let's pack this thing, you know, get 100 people on there, 200 people on the call. And
I would love that. And I said to Tom, I really want you on there, and I really want this to be, because, you know, our market, Japan's market, I mean, they're barely coming. We had no one from Japan because they're still coming out of a lockdown. And, you know, we had a lot of those issues ourselves and others. And so, you know, I really want this to be something cool for them. So I agree with you, and let's get the word out there, and let's get everybody excited, get on there, talk about these fun things, and then just get some cool stuff going.
I like it. Okay.
Barb,
thanks for being on and sharing your thoughts. And I know you just got home, so, you know, enjoy some time with your husband. And
He's not here.
I saw your cat walking back and forth in the video there. And
yeah, no, Paul's not home. He's in North Dakota, Kurt. He's in Watford City right now.
Oh, okay. All right. And Leisel, thanks for jumping on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
happy Father's Day again.
Yep, happy Father's Day.
And thanks everybody for joining us tonight. If you're watching the video, get back to the person that got you here, and let's figure out how to make this part of your life. That's it. Thank you, everyone.